Hey guys, Mr. Happy here and welcome to my newest series, the Final Fantasy XIV Beastiary. Eorzea has been remade from the top down, and there are a lot of new monsters appearing that have never been seen before. While some of them are common occurrences and some of them aren't so common, all of them have a history in the Final Fantasy series, whether it's just beginning now or it was started a decade ago. This series is dedicated to giving you a brief history lesson about some of these monsters. For our first episode, we're going to go over a Final Fantasy XI classic, Bubbly Bernie. Now, Bubbly Bernie, as you may have seen him, those of you leveling up in the Ul'dah area will notice him between Horizon and Vesper Bay in Western Thanalan. Now, keep in mind that this Bubbly Bernie is not the first Bubbly Bernie that some of us have seen. Back in Final Fantasy XI, when the game was brand new, Bubbly Bernie was sort of an iconic figure. Now, it wasn't the same kind of iconic like, you know, maybe a Fafnir was, or maybe a Gilgamesh was, but he had his place in our hearts in Final Fantasy XI. It was part of a quest called the Cold Light of Day, which was a repeatable quest in the Bastok Markets area. When you accepted the quest, you were told to go out and trade an item known as a koos, which was a type of fish, to a quest location in South Gustavberg. It was by a lighthouse, which is probably why we remember him so well behind that lighthouse, just being a memorable place as a whole. When you spawned him, you had to fight him. He was level 10, and he would drop a steam clock for the quest, and he also had a chance at dropping water crystals and crappie. Now, even though he was very popular, the reason why he was so popular was very early on in the game's early stages, before it became a little bit easier to farm at low levels. It was pretty much a given that this is what you did for Gil at low levels near Bastok. And while it was very popular when the game was new, it wasn't very effective. See, a stack of koos, depending on your server, would cost anywhere from 2 to 4,000, usually closer to 2,000 gil. And doing the quest 12 times would yield 6,000 gils. Keep in mind, 12 times takes quite a while because you have to run back and forth between town, the NPC, and the place where you need to actually hand it in. So it'll take about 5 minutes per quest completion. This was extremely ineffective, but Bubbly Bernie just was such an easy quest to do. People liked getting a few hundred gil every time. To some people, it was worth the time and investment. Others would rather farm fire crystals or honey or bee honey and goblin stuff and mask and whatever. And everyone had their own preferences, but his image was always portrayed, and he became so popular at some point that a group of 18 level 1s decided to take him on and see if they could beat him, and they were successful. It was pretty cool to see somebody go out of their way to do something so ridiculous. 18 level 1s versus a level 10 monster, but that's Final Fantasy for you, always trying to make it harder and harder. That's what a lot of people liked about that game. Now, while in Final Fantasy XIV, he doesn't really hold the same nostalgic factor to maybe new players, to old players, seeing him in Western Thanalan is just a massive boost of nostalgia. It just puts a smile on your face every time you pass by. Now, keep in mind that he does share the same model as the Final Fantasy XI version. It is bigger. It is significantly bigger. Bubbly Bernie was nowhere close to that big, as you've probably seen from the previous pictures. But it's still cool to see that they're working on adding more monsters from the Final Fantasy era as a whole, even ones that may not have been so popular in maybe Final Fantasy XI or whatnot. Just enemies that maybe they want more people to know about, and we're going to go into that a little bit more in our next episode. If you like this episode, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share, especially if you have a friend who's interested in the history of the monsters in Final Fantasy XIV. Also, go check out my Facebook at www.facebook.com/MrHappy1227. You can go there and you can ask for history lessons on pretty much any monster, and I'll look at it and see where it fits into my schedule. Also, if you would like, please donate to help keep the quality and quantity of my YouTube stream going up. And also, you can donate to charity. There's links for that in below. If you need any details, send me a message. I'd be glad to give you some details. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.